There was a time where I thought the iPad was going to be a laptop replacement. This is going back a few years where I had the iPad Pro and I was looking to have my laptop replaced. At the time I had a mid-2012 13-inch MacBook Pro, and that iPad was faster than that machine and lighter. You include the Apple Pencil. Looking at the direction of where the iPad is actually going, it makes you wonder, is the iPad really going to be a laptop replacement in the future? And I think that's a pretty hard question to answer. And I think to properly dive into that question, we need to go back to when the iPad was first introduced.
And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad.
So the iPad was introduced in 2010. I remember Steve Jobs coming out on stage and showing that beautiful sheet of glass, the thinness compared to a laptop at the time. It was glorious. And as much as loads of people at that time were saying that the iPad was just a full-blown iPhone, I just saw the potential of it, the apps that were going to come out for the iPad. And I think it was only a couple years later, third gen iPad that I had, I literally pleaded for my parents to get me it for educational purposes. For me, I have short-term memory loss, and it really helped me engage with textbook content in a whole new way compared to just reading and looking at images in a textbook. And I even took the iPad with me all throughout college and university. I remember getting the iPad Pro, and that was like the 2017 model. I was just blown away. It was just so powerful, and I just kept on thinking, this is powerful than my Mac. Like, why am I using my MacBook at this point? I was using my MacBook at that point because the file management was way better than what you get on iPad. It's just a completely different operating system at the end of the day. And when my freelance career came about, I started editing on that iPad Pro. I thought, okay, well, better than my MacBook in some cases, the file management might not be there, and I had to do some workarounds. I had to get a faster hard drive so it can work on it. I had to get like several dongles to try and test out whether I can actually get my files on the iPad. I was giving out hope Apple was going to bring out some new version of iPad, because at that time it was running iOS. And it was only a couple of years later iPad OS was born. I was like, this is it. This is gonna change the game. I tried editing a wedding video on there. It didn't get better. The file management was better, but the whole experience of plugging in a hard drive compared to a Mac, no, it just wasn't there. So yeah, it was just unfortunate with the iPad. I really thought iPad OS was gonna change things. And it's really a shame, because the iPad, for the past couple of years at least, its sales have dropped. There's not been much attention around the iPad. And now we're here with the iPad Pros, the new ones this year, and yeah, we have the M4 chip. Amazing looking displays, the best displays that we haven't even got on the MacBooks yet, but I know we're going to get them for sure. It just makes you wonder, like, what direction are they heading in? Like, I remember, I think it was 2014 or something like that. Tim Cook came on stage and he was like, we're heading in one direction.
Our competition is different. They're confused. They chased after netbooks. Now they're trying to make PCs into tablets and tablets into PCs. Who knows what they will do next? Well, I can't answer that question, but what I can tell you is we have a very clear direction and a very ambitious goal.
I just thought, like, oh yeah, they know what they're going to do with the iPad. And I think they still don't know what they're doing with the iPad. What are they going to do with WWDC this year? Like, I know there's been rumours about iOS 18 having this new redesign, and there's this huge thing about AI, Siri being revamped. They're going to need to change a lot at WWDC to get people's attention. Like, I will feel bad for the people that have just bought iPads and WWDC comes around and the software is just not there. I think ultimately for us filmmakers and video editors or whatever you are, I think for the iPad to be successful in those areas, the industry has to start using them more. Guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the iPad. It's a tricky subject to go into because you don't really know what's in store, which is exciting at the same time.